I moved out of my parents' house at 18 years old to head to university. Um, and I remember thinking, or rather not thinking, I remember not being very stressed about it. Wasn't really anxious about the fact that I would be living alone. And it wasn't like, in my mind, it wasn't that I was, going from living with my parents and then just indefinitely living alone. Indefinitely living like I have to care for myself. I didn't think about that a lot. And I didn't think about the process of, making friends, getting these new habits in this new place that I was living in. All those little things that you don't really think about until you hit that wall and you're there and you're like, fuck, okay. What am I gonna do today? What am I gonna do tomorrow? And the day after that, and and so on. And I remember going to the start of uni activities. That first week you always have some stuff going on, some social activities, and that really that was weird because I had always been kind of social, I guess, in high school, but it was kind of much more because I would play sports, and so I would know these people, and there was this hierarchy at high school where you play these sports, and so you know these people, and life is good. But it wasn't like that in uni. They don't give a shit that you played hockey. They don't give a shit if you were good at school. It wasn't like that. And honestly, there was a big adaptation at the start. And I remember, going to these events, and I'd known a guy. I met this guy who was like kind of my first friend. And we would go to these events, and I remember him talking to all these people, and I was kind of just that side character. And I remember just feeling so weird, so distant, like I'm not really there. I feel like I was talking to myself much more than I was talking to other people at these events. And I remember feeling like I was in third person because I didn't want to really be there. I felt extremely alone in all of these events, and even as classes started, I just felt so alone. I felt I would go weeks without talking to people because I just if it felt weird, I just didn't want to talk to people, and I didn't want to interact and make these new friends. I would go to class, don't talk to anybody, go back home. And at home, of course, I wasn't feeling any better. I felt equally as lonely. And so it was this kind of this paradox where when I was with people, I didn't feel comfortable. I don't want to be with them, so I wanted to be alone. And when I was alone, I was like, fuck, this sucks. I hate being alone. And I didn't really know what to do. And it started to show on all my results. My first exam, and it still makes me feel weird now. I've it's been like almost 3 years. I've done a lot since then. I'm a completely different person, but it still gets you. It still makes you feel weird. But my first exam, I failed. And I remember like, oh fuck, texting my mom like, hey, things are not going really well. Things are not going well with my grades. I'm not good. And I thought to myself, okay, I'll study a little bit more for next class, like a math. Because in university, your first two, for engineering, your first 2 years, But for me, it was different because I was in Montreal, I was in Quebec, so it's a little bit different. But my first year was theoretical, so I had 2 math classes, one physics, one chemistry, and like a side culture class. And yeah, my first semester I failed both math classes. It was fucking horrible. I didn't know what to do. Um, it felt like everything was ruining the other thing. Everything was bleeding into the other thing, and it just, when everything goes right, everything's going right. But when everything is going to shit, everything sucks. When it rains, it pours. That's what it was. And like a lot of different things happened my first semester, but yeah, it was just 4 straight months of loneliness. Straight up. I remember because I came to Montreal alone, and all of my really, really good friends from high school, they went to this other university, and they were all together. And I remember, sometimes calling them, and then, hearing them all together talking to me like, "Hey, Jared, what's going on?" They would all be there, and I would try to hide it. I would try to hide the fact that I was, straight up, to be quite honest, I was jealous. I was like, I want to go to that university. I wish I would be with my friends, and I wish I would be, not here. And I started to associate this place that I'm living in with just this weird, anxious, angsty feeling. And it was only until I started, my second semester, I felt like it was the lowest low. Like when I was starting out, I was like, fuck, okay, like this sucks. And I basically had to take myself out. This was me, and I had to take myself out of it and just look at everything going on. All these little things going on in my life. Everything wrong, every bad habit that I was doing. Try to dissect why I'm feeling lonely. What is it that's causing me to feel so alone even when I'm with people? And I started identifying these bad habits that I would have. And little by little, I started attacking these things, and things started going better. It doesn't happen instantly, and that's kind of the trap that I got into that first semester. I would make this drastic change, and I would slip back into that bad habit and feel bad again. What it takes is an effort to be patient and to understand that if you just keep going, things will get better. And accept that you're alone, and you should just. I remember thinking that it wasn't that I hated being alone. It just said I wasn't good at being alone. I wasn't doing the right things. I wasn't doing my own thing. And so when I was alone, I was trying to like, to just, I can't even explain it. It's just, I wasn't doing me. I was always on my phone. And when I was on my phone, I was stressing that I should be studying. And when I was studying, I was stressing that I was not focusing. And, I wasn't just being present. I was thinking future, past, and I wasn't in the now. I started being in the now, started attacking these bad habits right now. Things started getting better. And slowly, you start getting much more confident, and I will explain a little bit more of this this whole arc, but I'm not gonna make this video too long. So